level, you can see it manifest at the county level. So we have counties called bellwether counties. Bellwethers are counties, and they could be states also, that vote in line with a state or national trend. So they're pointing to you the way that things are going to go, just like when your wife sends you a very shortly worded text message, and you kind of sense that this is a bellwether. She may be angry at me when I get home. Yeah. Same thing as when Indiana gets called and Vigo County goes one way or another, Democrat or Republican. Well, since 1956, whichever way Vigo County is pointed has been the way the election wound up. That's called a bellwether. In 2020, Donald Trump won 18 out of 19 counties that have been perfect in predicting the presidential winner since 1980. Now, some of these have gone back further than that. Valencia County, New Mexico goes back to 1952. That one went to Donald Trump. So 18 of 19 of these counties went towards Trump, but he still has managed to somehow lose this election. Right. It's not. This is not saying one thing or another. It's saying, why is this question not being brought up in the media? So how all these historical bellwethers have fallen away. Yeah. So you can see on this map, most of these bellwether counties are contained in the working class states in the Northeast, but also some of them out west. They've been segregated here on the map, so make it a little bit easier to view. Mm-hmm. He won every bellwether county in Wisconsin, every bellwether in Michigan, a couple up in New York. You got 2 in Ohio. All of these went to Donald Trump.
Yeah. And just the one in Washington, I guess, stands out that Biden won.
Bellwether states. You have combinations of states that indicate the winner of elections as well, and some of them go back a very long time. So Ohio, just in and of itself, has gone to the winner of every election since 1896, with the exception of 2 times. Ohio, for many years, has been a confluence of urban, rural, racially diverse, unions, working class, white-collar workers, spread out over a pretty large geography that represents a good cross-section of America. So whoever wins Ohio generally has the pulse of America, especially middle America and working-class America, and goes on to win the election. I do think Ohio is turning more into a red state, but when you pair it with a state like Iowa, these 2 states together, no matter which party wins them both in tandem, so they have been 92% accurate in predicting the winner of a presidential election. 1944, 1960 are 2 examples. They were won by Republicans both times in those years, and they did not win the White House. But 15 times the Republicans have won both of these states together since 1896 and gone on to win the White House, and 9 times for the Democrats. It gets even more complicated as we go down the line. North Carolina and Florida. So these states are since 1932. So from the end of the Civil War until when FDR came on the scene in 1932, the Republican Party was very dominant. So the solid South, the Democratic South, was very much beaten down. It was very difficult for them to win anything. But in this shift that happened in 1932, ever since that came along, when Florida and North Carolina vote together, regardless of which party, they're accurate on 16 out of 17 occasions on pointing to who the winner of the presidential election is going to be. So Trump obviously carried both of these states in 2016, and he carried both of them in 2020. So 16 out of 17 times these states have voted for the same candidate. That candidate has gone on to win the White House.
Amazing history.
Yeah, and it gets even more complicated as we start to splice these 2 groups together. You've got the industrial states, these working class states, and then we pair them with the former solid South. When they merge together, since 1896, Ohio, Iowa, and North Carolina, 100% of the time when they all vote for the same candidate, they point to the presidency. And that's 13 occasions, 7 for Republicans and 6 for Democrats. Wow. Now, what do you think happens when we bring them all 4 together? Then you get the same result. You have 100% accuracy. You've got a broad coalition. So Florida plus Ohio, North Carolina, and Iowa represent a very broad coalition of America. Especially you bring in Florida, you've got a very racially diverse state there, ethnically diverse. Donald Trump carried all 4 of these states in 2016, and once again he carried them this year, and somehow he's lost the election. It's not that we're trying to scream a certain outcome right now. It's that we're wondering, why is there no investigation into this? Why is nobody asking these questions?
Right, exactly. Yeah, I mean, we're all asking those same questions, and it's important as we see this that, you know, we can get to a conclusion, seeing the history, knowing that it's pretty solid because it's always treated the same way, and now here we are. We're faced with, why is Trump not the president?
You get really deep into these counties. We can go on and on and on with these, but these are 2 of my favorite to look at. 2 of the most predictive counties that are out there, especially engaging the strength of a of a Republican candidate. Luzerne County, Pennsylvania is the best bellwether in the state of Pennsylvania, which there are 4 working class bellwethers in that state. But Luzerne County has gone to the winner of Pennsylvania, regardless of whether that's a Democrat or a Republican, in every election since 1936. Donald Trump carried Luzerne County in 2016 by 19 points, and he won Pennsylvania. Not only that, whenever a Republican carries Luzerne County since 1936, he always carries Michigan, which Donald Trump carried in 2016. 6 out of 7 times in this time frame that the Republican carried Luzerne County, Pennsylvania, went on to win the presidency. The exception was in 1948. Mahoning County, Ohio is even tougher. That one has only gone Republican 2 times since 1936. In 1956 and in 1972, both of those were landslides. Trump didn't carry Mahoning County in 2016, but he got it this year. Okay. So supposedly he's running weaker with the working class populations, but he carried one of the toughest counties out there for a Republican to get his hands on. Ronald Reagan lost Mahoning County in 1984 by 18 points.
Interesting.
So what happens when a Republican carries both of these counties together? Well, of course he's going to carry Pennsylvania because Luzerne County goes to the winner of Pennsylvania, regardless of party. But Mahoning County, Ohio, 1956 was an Eisenhower landslide, 41 states. 1972, a Nixon landslide, 49 states.
Wow.
And now he won them both, and he lost Pennsylvania, and he lost most of the Rust Belt, and he somehow lost the election, even with the state bellwethers that we paired together earlier.
Doesn't make any sense to me, that's for sure. All right, Seth, so there's a story of what occurred on election night, and this is really interesting. I really enjoyed this slide because it just kind of takes us through the process. So explain, if you would, kind of what you saw